I'm 27 years old. I've no money and no prospects. I'm already a burden to my parents, and I'm frightened. So don't judge me, Lizzie. Don't you dare judge me.
What a reading.
I know.
Did you bring an up-tempo song? We'll have 16 bars of it.
I know, right? Just, I'm always here, always.
I love a quote.
Do you want me to do some acting?
It's still in there.
It's still there.
Still in there. It's still good.
Thanks.
But also with the accent too, it just makes it. If I did the reading, it just wouldn't have the same.
You know what? Next time I'm going to make you do the reading.
No, you
Yes,
can't.
I am.
You can't do that. I'll embarrass myself.
Can't.
Yeah, that's right. No.
Okay, well, I'm not 27, and that wasn't Jane Austen.
Welcome to Into the Austenverse. I am David Campbell.
I am Lisa Campbell.
And we are husband and wife, and we are talking all things Jane Austen and the 250th anniversary of her birth. We did Pride and Prejudice. We did mainly 1995 and a little bit of the 2025.
And 1940.
And 1940, famously, in the last episode. And we knew we were going to have to do a two-parter. We just knew it because the 2005 is just, it's so, and it's a very overused word, but it is beloved. And I think that we had to really break it down in its own solitary episode. Let's go back to that quote for a second, because as you said, that's not Jane Austen.
Who is it?
I want to say it's Emma Thompson, but
It is Emma Thompson.
Is it Emma Thompson? Is that
It's
one
Emma
of the
Thompson.
scenes?
Yeah.
That's great.
So Joe Wright, the director, took her up onto Hampstead Heath. He was asking her for some advice on scenes, and they went out to Hampstead Heath near where she lives, and she just improvised it, and he wrote it down and she improvised it.
She's incredible.
She's incredible.
I mean, we're going to do it. There's going to be a lot of Emma Thompson love coming up in further episodes once we get to Sense and Sensibility, but she is just next level. But let's just talk about the fact that we're at the 20th anniversary of this movie now. The impact when it came out was quite good when it first came out back in 2005. It made like $126 million worldwide, you know, on quite a good budget. You know, it did really, really well.
How much did it cost?
It cost like maybe 60, maybe even less than that. So it made its money back and then some. It is, however, it's this long tail that it's had, and it grows and it grows. And it really is the sort of, I would say, the second wave of the Austenverse, of the Austen love, has been this one solitary movie really carrying it through. Because when you deep dive online and when you talk about Jane Austen and Pride and Prejudice to many, many a generation, as we've been doing since we've talked to people about doing this, this is what they keep coming back to.
Yes. And I think that something that I found really interesting is that it has a resonance with millennials, not just in part because of what I've just read, but I think that there's something that Emerald Fennell has said about the 2025 version.
Oh, go on.
She said how she looks forward to people finding their own Lizzie and Darcy. And that is so interesting to me because I feel as though there's a generation of people who Keira Knightley and Matthew McFadden are theirs.
Yep.
In the same way that Jennifer Ely and Colin Firth were ours.
Yes.
It's like they're our Doctor Who's. But
I can't wait to see the regeneration scene coming up for this.
But what I think is interesting about it is that I dismissed the 2005.
Well, I also missed it. We dismissed and missed.
I thought, no, I've got my version. And in many ways, my first impressions of it, as First Impressions was the original title of Pride and Prejudice, were
very good.
Thanks very much. Were incorrect because we have gone back. We've seen it a number of times over recent weeks, including on the big screen.
Yeah, and that was a clincher because
it's so much better than I thought it was.
When you see what Joe has done on the big screen, Joe Wright has done on the big screen with this movie, they don't make him like this anymore. I don't know if I'm more worried or more excited for the 25 version because that cinematic expanse that he goes for and the shots that he gets, and we're going to go a bit more into the background on this. but it is quite astounding. I'm leaning more on how amazing this version is. I love the expanse of the original one. I love the fact we've got 6 episodes of the 1995 one. We can get into the Austen nature of it, tell all the stories, but just it's so sumptuous.
Yeah. And I think that there are definitely aspects that we lose because of the fact it's 2 hours long. Of course you're going to lose that. But it is phenomenally beautiful.
There's a lot going on to this, but I want to firstly talk about the fact that we watched it at home and then we watched it on the big screen. And both times, when it first started, I was like, Donald Sutherland, bold choice. This is interesting. How is he going to fit into this world? And then when you get to the ending of the film and her in his study and him accepting and obviously laughing and that moment at the end, I remember watching it at the small screen going, oh, that's why he's Donald Sutherland. That's why he's in the movie. And on the big screen, it had an even more, and I can say that, an emotional impact. It's an incredible ending to that movie, but it's one of 2 endings. And I did not know this until doing the research on this movie, because the British ending and what we had here in Australia and maybe a lot of the world is Donald Sutherland.
Whoa. That other ending?
Yeah, the US ending.
That's a US ending. I thought it was just like...
Oh, no. That is a US ending. So the United States...
The Mrs. Darcy thing.
The Mrs. Darcy and her sitting there. Yeah, well, tell us what you... I sent it to you, said, have you seen it? She's like, oh, yeah. But did you not know that was the US edited version? So that after they leave, there's a sort of a fade to black or a wipe, and it comes up on that scene at the end. That is legit.
Okay, so this scene is them sort of kneeling together.
I kind of don't mind the script, but I also kind of like, why am I watching this? I've just watched an incredible performance end the film.
Oh, God, I don't like it at all.
Oh, no, well, I hate to break it to you, but that was the US ending of the film. I am
so shocked. I thought, because I have seen it on the TikToks and stuff like that, I assumed it was just like something that got cut out in test screenings.
Exactly. That's what I thought too. But no, that is the legit ending of that as well. So I also want to talk really quickly while we're on about Donald Sutherland and about the ending, because I found out some really good stuff. Joe Wright, the director of the movie, just said in a recent interview like this year about the 20th anniversary, he talked about those 2 endings. He said the Americans just needed the sugar hit. They needed the sugar hit of this being like romantic all the way through to the end, because remember, they've been denied a few things. There's not a lot of contact. There's a lot of sexual tension. We'll get into that very shortly. But then he talked about the Donald Sutherland ending. And he said that Donald was really happy with that ending. And why wouldn't he be? He thought it was really fantastic. Although Sutherland was really self-conscious of his teeth. So when he was cast, he was like, oh, I don't know if he'd had work done or whatever. But he was really conscious of, oh, my teeth are way too modern for this adaptation. And because
they're white.
They're very white, right?
They match his hair.
Yeah. And so, but it's such a great performance. So when you see him and he's always he's trembling and touching his mouth while he's laughing. He said Donald would do that all the time because he was so self-conscious of his teeth. But it actually adds another layer of emotion. Oh, isn't that nice?
I love that.
I love that too. What do you think about the fact that adaptation, first of all, is not set in the time like the 95 version?
Okay.
We're a bit muddier.
So it's set in 1790s, which means that they haven't got the Empire Line dresses. It's a much more rural setting for the Bennets.
Yeah.
And sort of really changes the class a lot more between the Bennets and the Darcys.
Yes.
I mean, they're sumptuous pig's balls that we see trotting through the house.
They're not in my notes.
They're not?
They're not in my notes. I can't believe I forgot about the pig's balls. But there it is.
It feels very rural. Mm-hmm. The tricky thing, and so I dismissed it because I was like, okay, I know that Joe Wright has talked about the fact that he didn't want the Empire Line things. And
he wanted the colour palettes to be different for the sisters. Yeah.
And I think that the big thing that you see, the stark difference is when you see Lady Catherine de Bourgh.
She's great de Bourgh.
No relation to Chris.
Fantastic.
Lady Catherine de Bourgh is yelling at me.
in the dark. Nobody's here. Yeah.
Why in the dark? Why is that?
Listen, she comes at all times, day and night. It depends on what version you watch.
I know. Very.
1940s, she's got Darcy in the van, like I said.
Why is she in that coming in the dark?
Listen, she just wants to keep them on their toes.
Yeah, it's wild. Anyway, but when you see Judi Dench's version, obviously with the big hair and things like that.
And sort of not much makeup too, really like.
But it looks, the sort of the larger hair and the way that she looks reminded me, and of course I am not a scholar or a fashion historian, but it looks sort of French Revolution-y. It looks that sort of idea that we would have thought of from that period.
Absolutely.
Whereas in the 1995, which is much more based in the sort of Regency period, 1813, which is when it was published, then you think, oh, well, that's when it was supposed to be done. Mm-hmm. So there's a very specific time period where the militia were stationed in temporary barracks in various towns around the country.
Oh, okay.
And that can be pinpointed. So because they were at war with Napoleon, the government built much larger barracks to house the militia.
Right.
So there's a very specific couple of years where it was supposed to happen. And those are in the late 1790s.
Right.
So Joe Wright does work to when it would have been set because of the period of when the militia, when Wickham was around.
I kind of love it.
You love it.
I kind of like
more than 95.
It's not this. I kind of love the color palette. I kind of love what he's going for in it. I'm trying not to have too much recency bias on it, but I do feel like
Regency bias.
Very good.
Thanks.
Listen, this is just so good. Okay, so the US version. We talked about the US version before. I just want to go back on that a little bit here. So that US version, that was a source of complaint for Jasner, and you don't want to upset Jasner.
I don't know who Jasner is.
Oh, you've not heard of Jasner? Lisa, let me tell you.
Oh, the Jane Austen Society of
North America. Jasner. See, now you do. See, never cross Jasner. Never cross Jasner.
I have read some stuff on Jasner recently.
They've said after watching a preview of the film before its wide release, the former Jasner president, Elsa Solander, hope that's how we say her name, said it has nothing at all of Jane Austen in it. So she didn't like that at all. So they kept it really purist.
But neither 2005 or 1995 have the actual ending of the book, which gives us sort of like a flash forward of how their lives pan out.
It does. It does a nice little like moving forward of everything, and
Kitty goes and visits.
Yeah, Lydia's around a bit with Wickham, and they're a bit like, can we have a bit more money, please?
Yeah.
The baddie is Emma Corrin. Right? Because they're Brits together. They're paired in a lot of the junkets together. And so there's this great TikTok where obviously, a great journalist, she's sitting there and she's talking to them both. And she mentions Mr. Darcy and he's like, oh, yes, of course. And then she talks about the hand flex. And he's almost a bit like, oh, well, the hand, he's almost downplaying it. And this interviewer turns to Emma and says, well, you know about the hand flex. And Emma goes, oh, I know about the hand flex.
I wonder whether they were cast at that point.
Geez, that's a really good question. Maybe, maybe not. A couple of years ago, well, maybe. I don't know how Netflix works. Call us Netflix. We're ready to work. But what he has done on that run of like interviews for, I think, Deadpool and Wolverine, talks a little bit more about Mr. Darcy because he was being asked a lot about it in recent years through Succession and that. He talks about the fact that he didn't enjoy playing Mr. Darcy.
Why?
No, he didn't enjoy it because he said he felt miscast. He says, quote unquote, I'm not dishy enough for that role. Which, is interesting because he's like 6'4" or something. He's quite tall. And he then says in the same interview, I think it's on American TV over there, that Colin Firth felt the same. That they both felt like they were miscast and they couldn't live up to Jane Austen's Mr. Darcy. And it's interesting on that because they both did Operation Mincemeat, the movie. Mm-hmm. So you had two Darcys, one film.
Yes.
Which is another podcast. But so they talked about it. And Colin Firth, after he saw Matthew's Mr. Darcy, wrote him a fan mail.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
said, I now know how Mr. Darcy should be played, which is real nice, isn't it?
That's lovely.
Isn't that lovely?
Really lovely.
But what do you think about these two men portraying Mr. Darcy as almost like, I think it's interesting to see, you can certainly see it in Matthew's version. I think you can see it a little bit in Colin's too, almost like the insecurity that they bring out in Darcy or the uncomfortableness of Darcy. And maybe that's a lot to do with the act of portraying it.
Both of them are very handsome, strapping men, but
she's married to a man who's 5'10". I just want to remind everybody.
5'10"? 5'10"?
5'9" and a bit with change.
Push the hair up.
Okay, in hair and heels, I'm 5'10".
Aren't we all? Anyway, you're a very handsome man.
No, I don't need it. I don't need it now.
Okay.
Please go on.
Okay. So there has to be a motivation for Darcy's discomfort in social situations. And the internet has a lot of comparisons between Colin Firth's, which seems more prideful, and Matthew Macfadyen's, which seems more socially awkward. But I mean, ultimately, when we go to Pemberley and we hear about what a good landlord he is, we hear about what a good employer he is, we see his relationship with Georgiana, we see him in his situation of comfort, and he's such a good man. And though, I mean, it's not until you're in Pemberley with either Lizzie that you really feel like, oh, we see her really warm to him too.
All right. I want to go back to the hand flex. Though McFadyen says that he did it in a rehearsal and that Joe saw it. Joe says that he always wanted it to be a thing. So when he gets up onto the carriage, and it's almost too overwhelming for him. So it's interesting that like, they're a little bit off on what that is. The other thing that wasn't planned and that was in the movie, which is why I think the US version doesn't work, is because there's all this sexual tension that builds up. And there's that moment where she's rejecting him.
And they look like they're going to kiss.
That happened in the audition. So when Keira was cast and they were like trying to do like a screen test chemistry thing, it happened naturally in the audition and they kept it. And it's...
Do you think?
I really like it. I see why it adds a level of like tension because
I do, but
they're playing against the text. Oh, it's cool.
I do, but also for me, I just don't feel as though Elizabeth would go there right then because she's so angry at him because of what he's done to Jane.
God, you're such an Austen purist.
I recognise it's an adaptation and that there need to be variations, but I can't help but think it's just slightly against character. But I give that maybe it just adds to the aspect of the movie.
It does. All right. We're going to talk about a few other things on this now. You've already spoken about Emma Thompson. Do you know the other piece that she wrote or suggested?
I do.
Okay, what is it?
Lizzie's had the information and Matthew Macfadyen, Mr. Darcy, is pacing with the gardeners.
About?
The Wickham stuff?
Yes. And what is it? What's the most Emma Thompson thing in the movie outside of that?
I don't know.
It's her coming around with the letter, crying, and then going around for another lap.
Yeah.
That is such a Thompson move.
Yeah.
That it jumps out of the film because it's almost comedic where actually I think Keira handles the comedy of that quite well and then gets us back with the pathos again. But it's very Thompson-y.
Can we talk about Keira Knightley?
Yes, we can. I'd love to.
Have you watched the interview with Keira and Rosamund Pike?
No, because you said you were going to, and so I thought I'd lay back.
You lay back. It's worth your time. It's really charming.
I do like both of them.
It's really won me over on Keira Knightley.
Ooh.
And what was really interesting about this is that there's something that she mentions, which is really true. She says that up until this point, in the public consciousness, I was seen as a terrible actress.
Yeah.
And she was.
What, Pirates?
Yes. Pirates, Love Actually. People didn't really care for her much.
Right.
And I count myself as one of them.
Right. Not in the Keira train.
No. And I did think she was a terrible actress.
Right.
And I think she's awful in Pirates. And she's phenomenal in this.
She's phenomenal in this.
And I'd forgotten how good she was. She is really beautiful. And when you mentioned that scene, her indignance and her anger, the
Emma Thompson scene?
No, I'm talking about the scene but when they are going to kiss in the rain.
Oh, yeah.
She is so good. Like her delivery and her fire and her focus is so clear.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's beautiful. And I think she's a really underrated actor. I was off the Knightley train until Black Doves.
Yeah, Black Doves is great.
Last
She's
year.
great in that.
I know, and I had to be persuaded to watch it because I was like, oh, can't bear her.
Oh, she's awesome.
She is, and I feel as though my first impressions of Keira Knightley were incorrect.
As a nation, are you going to speak on behalf of Britain?
I am.
There you go.
I think that
Locked down.
We need to Elizabeth Bennet ourselves on Keira Knightley.
Well, those generations that have actually jumped on that train because they would have picked up on her straight away there. But
yeah.
I love Rosamund Pike in this film as well.
Oh, she's beautiful.
I just love her so much. She's
so
so
great.
I mean, we can't talk about Saltburn, but she's amazing in Saltburn.
She is.
But I love her in this film. I think she's a really great Jane. I think she's up there when we start to do our All-Stars where we're going to feel about our Janes. But did you know that her Bingley, Simon Woods, and her dated 2 years prior? So we've got 2 Pride and Prejudice dating now. Because didn't you say that Colin and Jennifer dated?
Yeah, but they were dating during it.
Oh, yeah. No, this is prior to. So 2 years prior to. And they got cast. But I think they still keep the chemistry alive. I think they're lovely together. He is a good Bingley.
Ginger Bingley. Yeah, they are.
Love that for him. All right. I want to quickly get a few more facts out there.
Get them out.
Get them out. I want to talk about the fact that the big scene at the end. So, have you noticed that during the film, McFadden's Darcy gets less and less clothes on him? So he gets looser. So he's all stitched up at the beginning. And by the time he's coming over the moors, he's basically like shirts open, everything's going, there's scarves billowing and all that sort of stuff.
I had not made that connection, but yes, you're right.
Yeah. And so that was an intent by Joe as well. The funny thing about, I think everyone got up and at 3 a.m. to go watch them film this, which is pretty British.
It's lovely.
That's pretty great. Like, we're all going to be there and watch this iconic scene from a book be filmed. I think that's really great. But Matthew has terrible vision. And so when he's coming across the mist, Joe had to be behind the camera with a big flag because he wouldn't know where he was going. Couldn't see the camera, couldn't see where he was walking to. So when you don't think about that when you're hearing the scene and the beautiful music underneath it, but yeah, he's
doing Les Mis up the back.
Absolutely. Do you hear the people singing French Revolution up the back, all back there?
Spectacular.
Like, incredible stuff, right? Joe Wright also talks quickly about, I love the storytelling in this. I love the overlapping of the sisters talking all the time, the chaos of sisters in the household.
Yeah.
He took that from a real life experience he had with someone he dated, I think, that had multiple sisters. And he's like, no, it should be less like all waiting for each other and just absolute chaos all the time.
Yeah, when they have to prep the house when Bingley comes, when he returns.
That's a hilarious scene.
But it's also so well done.
Yeah, that's hilarious. The other thing which speaks to the authenticity, he talking about when they would hold these balls and these big mansions and there'd be 200 and 300 people there. Now, what do you think is missing from those houses at these parties?
Bathrooms.
There's no toilets, there's no plumbing. So he talks about that, and he talks about the fact that the men would have to go outside and just wee and do their stuff outside in the bushes. But the women back in the day, when they did their research, when they found out there was going to be a big party that day, would not drink and would almost have diuretics so that they would get everything out so they could be all pulled into the corsets. So he would go up to the younger actresses like Carey Mulligan and be like, act like in these scenes that you need to go to the toilet all the time. Which is really interesting. And he does those incredible one-ers where he's going through the parties, which is just magnificent filmmaking on his part.
The Netherfield Ball is so perfect.
It's incredible.
When you see Matthew McFadden come in behind Keira Knightley. Oh my God. And yeah, and she doesn't know that he's there. It's stunning. And also, I think the other ball scene's really, the Meryton Ball is really well created too. They didn't know that they were being filmed in each shot.
No way.
So there were such long lenses. So they weren't aware of what was being shot when.
I do love that. What I miss in that scene that you have in 1995, they take their time in showing how chaotic the sisters and the mother is. And that really, I think that really sets up the narrative of Darcy saying, let's have another think about this. And Caroline Bingley saying, this family is chaos, mate. I think we need to just slow our horses down, let's just, splash some water on our face and have a think about this.
You don't think that comes through in 2005?
Not as much because of a little bit, but because
it
we're
does.
so truncated in time, it's hard to get it across.
I think you do. I think you get that when when they're leaving the ball, when it's
Dawn, they're the last ones to leave.
God.
How annoying. The last ones to leave a party. Oh, well, we've been there. You wanted to say something about the Moors.
The one thing that I think really grounds it and shows you we're in 2005 is Matthew McFadden walking over those moors. You know what it is?
What?
He has Jim from The Office hair.
Okay, so that's very specific.
That sort of like, it was so of the time, that sort of like John Krasinski, like those little wispies.
Yeah.
That's what he has.
Wispies.
And it's like real positioned wispies. It's awful. Why do we ever think that was good? But those position wispies, I was like,
Position Wispies is such a great title for this podcast. We really should rethink it. By the way, she's reading a book at the beginning. Do you know what the book she's reading is?
Is it Pride and Prejudice?
Right, it's the story of her life. She's reading First Impressions. That's a nice touch, isn't it? We need to discuss our All-Stars and get into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, All-Stars, let's go.
Okay, so I feel as though my favourite performances in the 2005 are I love Rosamund Pike.
Yes.
I love Tom Hollander.
Oh my God, we didn't talk about Tom Hollander. When you see Tom Hollander play Mr. Collins on the big screen, the comedy of the height, the comedy with Keira Knightley once again, who does great comic work with him in the ballroom scene.
Yeah, that's beautiful, the way that the dialogue goes when they're dancing.
It is so funny. The boiled potatoes, which is now a meme, is so funny. And I love the oiliness of Bamba in the 95. But I'm going to put Hollander over the top just for pure comedy because he is a great comedian.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Have you ever read the Life in a Day thing that he did?
No.
Okay. It's not for now, but look it up. Look up him doing, it's a written piece, like a written interview about what he does. Day in the life thing. It is spectacular.
Okay.
So Tom Hollander, and you know what? I love the one that we sleep on Mrs. Gardner. I love Penelope Wilton as Mrs. Gardner.
Okay. Look at you go. What a deep cut.
The Gardners are salt of the earth.
They're really important. I do love them in that. I do miss Capital. Yes. I like that in the 95. So I missed that. All right. As we move up the chain, who's going to be your Mrs. Bennet? Are we going for 95 or are we going for 2005? Because you do have an affinity with Brenda Blethyn.
I love Brenda Blethyn.
I adore Brenda Blethyn.
I was with Brenda Blethyn the day that she found out that she was nominated for an Oscar for Little Voice.
Get the hell out of here.
There you go. Yeah, she wouldn't remember, but I do, obviously. Look, it's hard. I do love Alison Steadman, though. She, apparently, at the reading of the 1995, when they sat round, she was like, you know what? I'm going to go for it. And she does.
She does.
She
really does.
And I think there's
that note was well taken.
Bennett, which I find so charming.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to choose.
All right. Well,
I don't have to.
I think Mr. Bennett's is easy because I'm going to say Sutherland wipes the floor. I'm sorry, he does.
I think he's adorable in it. And,
that pathos he brings at the end, that is, you can't top that. That is it. He's won in just one scene. He wins the whole grand final. That's it. He's got it. We've got to put him in there.
There's something a little more weighted about his Mr. Bennet, whereas Benjamin Whitrose is much more sort of, I guess, more cerebral. I'm not going to choose.
Oh my,
I'm not going to choose. How can I choose? I don't have to choose.
All right, let's get to the sisters. Who have you got sister-wise? We've got to keep Safi in. Safi's in.
Judith
Best Lydia.
Yeah. I think that I'll bring Carey Mulligan in for Kitty, even though I think she's wasted. It's not her fault, but I mean, it's incredible she was in it.
I think Mary from the TV show is better than Tallulah. Bless Tallulah.
Okay. And you're going to go for Rosamund Pike?
I am. I really like Rosamund Pike.
I know. But Susanna Harker looks like a Greek goddess, which she's supposed to. She's a Regency ideal.
We can take one each.
Okay. And then I'll take Jennifer, and you have to have Keira.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't get a choice. All right. What are you going to take Colin to? Because you can't mix and match, really.
Yeah,
okay, so you're going to take that set. I'll take. I think I'm in on the hand flex. I think I'm in on the Tomlet doing Mr. Darcy. I kind of think
you can't make a Tomlet without breaking Greg's.
it's just listen. Succession podcast is coming up. It's a delayed podcast, but give us until late next year. We'll get on to it. Okay, that's our All Stars. And people are going to probably want to argue with us.
Yes,
please
tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, please argue with us.
I am fascinated to hear what you think. I mean, am I being a fence sitter for not choosing?
Are we too Gen X-y? Who knows? But look, we tried to make it as best we can, as even as we could.
And also, I regret putting Keira in the basket of not a good actor. And I regret that. And I brought her back and I sit her on a pedestal next to a kneeling Matthew McFadden with his little covered in wispies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. We hope you've enjoyed this. Where can everyone find us and follow along?
They can write to us at info@intotheaustenverse.com. They can follow us on the Instagrams at Into The Austenverse and the TikToks Into The Austenverse.
Yeah. Well, that was Pride and Prejudice. There's a few more things. We may come back around to Pride and Prejudice now. We're going to move on to another Austen for the next episode.
What are we going to go to, David?
I think we should do Emma.
Emma.
So think about all things Emma. If you want to look at the book, good on you. If you want to look at the Goop, if you want to look at the 2020.
Emma, full stop.
And there's also a BBC adaptation as well. Let us know what you think. We're going to come back. Our next episode of Into the Austenverse will be on Emma. Thank you for listening, watching. We appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye now.